is Jess. I'll be your safari driver and guide through the Harambe Bay Wildlife Reserve. Is this anybody's first time on a safari? Raised hands. Oh, I see a lot of hands. Awesome. Welcome. Everybody else, welcome back. Well, I do have a couple of safety reminders before we get started. Now, I am actually driving this truck, so my most important safety reminder, please remain fully and completely seated throughout the entire duration of the safari. And yes, that does mean adults and children, even the children sitting on laps. Everyone's bottoms must be in a seat or in someone's lap. So please do not reenact the Lion King on my truck. I appreciate it. And also keep those hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the vehicle at all times. Some of these bushes and trees do have thorns. I don't want anyone coming back with unwanted souvenirs like splinters, prickers, any of the sort. Also, there is no eating or drinking on the safari for the safety of these animals. All right, we got clearance from the warden, so we're going to head on in. Now, if you look above your heads, there is that safari spotting guide to help you identify some of the animals we may see. We may not see all of them, but we usually get pretty lucky and see most of them. And our first stop inside the reserve is the Little Aturi Forest. Now, I already see a couple of animals. If you look over on the left side, you're going to see these antelope. These are called bongos. And bongos get the nicknames the ghosts of the forest, as they are very shy and reclusive, and they like to hide. Unless, of course, they're looking for food. And if you look on the right side, those animals with stripes are called okapi. Now, a lot of people think the okapi is related to zebras because they have stripes very similar to them. They are actually related to the giraffe. But that's because they have a long tongue in their mouths, just like a giraffe. They use it to grasp at the leaves of the trees and bushes. As you can see, as we pass by that one that's hanging out behind the bushes, that dark coloration and stripes really helps it to blend in.
Let's see if there's a rhino in here.
Sorry about that.
Ooh, over on the left side, there's a black rhino. Very critically endangered. There is less than 5,000 of them left.
Oh, wow.
That is unfortunately because poachers are after their horns.
Never recording.
Scientists found out their horns are made of keratin, which is the same material as our hair and fingernails.
Oh, these are close.
You may catch a glimpse of some other antelope on the right side. Those ones are called greater kudu. And you'll notice, unlike these bongos, the greater kudu do not have horns. That's because those ones
This is really that close. I'm not zooming
only
in.
the males have horns for their species. While the bongos, both male and females have horns. Actually, we'll use them to dig roots in the ground for them to eat. We're also going to catch a glimpse of a pair of birds on the left. These are saddle-billed storks. They stand about 5 feet tall, and they get their name for the yellow saddle-shaped marking on their bill. Now, since they're hanging out so close to one another, they're most likely a bonded pair. Those birds, they mate for life. They'll find that one partner and then stay with them for the rest of their lives. And it looks like we're heading to the Safi River. And this is where we can find some aquatic animals. And I think I see a hippo on the right side. Though I think I see one a little bit further up ahead too. Now, hippos, they're very territorial to their section of the river, so you definitely do not want to get in the water with them. They do have very large teeth, which can grow to be up to 18 inches long. I did see one poking its head out on the right side up here, but it looks like there's some more on the left side too. And the hippos, they do live in groups. Does anyone know what a group of hippos is called? Any guesses? No, that's okay, I'll tell you. A group of hippos is called a bloat. Bloat of hippos. And they are very well adapted for the life in the water. A hippo can hold its breath up to 8 minutes at a time. You'll see one underneath the water too. And the way they move under the water, they're not really the greatest. They prefer to walk on the riverbed instead.
That guy's good. He's looking around.
It also looks like there's a couple of pelicans hanging out with them too. These are called the paint-back pelicans. Now they get their name because underneath those feathers, their skin turns bright pink. And that really only happens during the mating season. Some say that they actually blush for one another.
I know, but that's okay.
Alright, now we're going to cross over this river, so make sure we stay seated. It's on the left side. You're going to see some Nile crocodiles. These are very large reptiles. They grow to be about 16 feet long. That's almost as tall as a giraffe. They also use that powerful tail to jump their body length out of the water as well. Very impressive. Overall, they're very strong animals, but they're still delicate parents. When their eggs are about to hatch, they'll dig them up from their nest on land and put those eggs in their mouths. They roll those eggs around their tongues, and that does help to soften the eggshells, so it makes it easier for their hatchlings to get out. Very dedicated parents they are. And it looks like we're now heading to our next ecosystem, the savannah. You may recognize a lot of animals that are out here. Animals such as wildebeest, zebra, giraffe. They use the savannah as a natural highway for their migration. That is because it's relatively flat and doesn't have a whole lot of trees. So it makes it easier for large groups of animals to move around. We're going to take it nice and slow. We'll try and get a little bit closer to some of those animals. I already see a giraffe. It's over on the right side. It looks like it's eating some leaves off of that tree, maybe even the bush. Now you'll notice that its spots are very irregular in shape. That is called a Maasai giraffe, and it gets its name for those irregular, jagged shaped markings. Now they are the tallest land animals. Does anybody have any guesses on how tall a giraffe can be?
20 feet.
16 feet. I mean, you're close. I did mention that with the
20.
crocodiles. That's
20
probably
to
their
18
average.
feet.
Yeah, about 20. 20 feet for the tallest giraffes. Now, not every giraffe's going to reach that height, though. It's kind of like us people. We're not all the same height either. I like to think that not every giraffe's a basketball player. Now, we'll try and get a little bit closer to them in a moment. Ooh, if you look over on the left side inside the cave, I'm going to pull up a little bit. These are some African wild dogs. Looks like they're resting. Now, they're one of the most successful hunters in Africa. That is because of their pack mentality and great communication skills. They have roughly about an 80% success rate on their packs. That is more successful than any cat species in Africa. Make sure we're staying seated, everybody. Friends, we got how to stay seated. Thank you. You're also going to see some antelope on the left side too. Those are called sable antelope, and they are the mascot of the reserve. And you see they have the long curved horns curved backwards to help deter predators from jumping on their back. They probably also make really good back scratchers too.
Oh my god.
Alright, we're going to get a little bit closer to this giraffe up ahead.
That's a bug.
Now, when the giraffe is born, they're still a pretty large animal. Still much taller than most people on the planet. A newborn giraffe's about 6 feet tall. And by their first birthday, they do double in size. So that's definitely a growth spurt. So you'll see a couple of them on the left side of us now.
Oh, this one up there.
Now they are very hungry animals. They're almost constantly thinking about food. A giraffe will eat for roughly about 20 hours a day.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a lot of food. They do have 4 stomachs just like cows.
Oh, look at the crossing.
And they only sleep for about 30 minutes a day. They'll usually sleep standing up too. So you're going to get actually a great view of this one giraffe that is almost a year old right next to the tall one. So you get a good idea of just how much this one's got to grow.
Wow.
So this one's got a couple more months till it's almost a year old. So it's probably about 10 to 11 feet tall, I want to say.
Yeah, they are.
Maybe a little bit shorter than that.
There's another one up here on the hill.
Now the giraffes, you'll notice their spots, they're actually all unique to the individual. So no two giraffe are alike. It's just like our fingerprints.
I think there were 5 we saw together.
And it looks like there's a lot of animals over in this clearing up ahead. So we're gonna get a view of them in a moment. It's actually 4 different animals over here. Now you'll see a zebra. It's called a mountain zebra. There's some cattle with large horns called Ankole cattle. And some wildebeest and springbok. It's a couple of antelope. It looks like we are stopped. There's probably an animal crossing in front of one of the trucks in front of us. So we're gonna hang out here for just a moment, and then we'll get a little bit of a better view of these animals. Sounds like it might be a zebra or a giraffe on the road. This is their home after all, so they get to do whatever they please.
Oh my god. Upside down tree.
Now, we did see a pretty large group of giraffe. Does anyone know what a group of giraffe is called? Make sure we're staying seated down back there, even when we're stopped, friends. Thank you. Now, does anyone know what a group of giraffes is called?
A group of giraffes.
No one? That's okay. I'll tell you anyway. Group of giraffe called a tower. Tower of giraffe.
I didn't know that.
Now, how about a group of scared giraffe? That's a tower of terror. So you'll get a great view of that zebra on the right side. Now, a lot of people do like to speculate if the zebras are black with white stripes or white with black stripes. But take a look at its nose. Its nose is black.
Oh, wow.
So it's actually black with white stripes.
A black with white.
Now those wildebeest, the dark gray animals on top of the hill, they're actually the second most densely populated mammal on the planet. And that is second only to us humans. So when they migrate in groups of up to 1.5 million individuals. That's a lot of wildebeest.
Very close to you.
That looks like there's another giraffe and another zebra up ahead as well.
There
we get a good look at those there.
Oh, there's a zebra right here. There's a zebra right here.
Caught a view of some of those Angoli cattle. They're the ones poking out of those bushes earlier. We're going to see if we can get another view of them too.
I'm not zooming in.
So you'll see two more of these mountain zebra. Now, one way you can tell they're mountain zebra is the stripes. If you look at their bellies, they're white. Those stripes don't go all the way around them. That's one way you can tell. Another way is they have a flap of skin underneath their necks. It is called a dewlap. And they use that dewlap to help regulate their body temperatures, especially when it is really hot outside. So if they don't have stripes on their belly and they have that dewlap, that means they're a mountain zebra. So there's a couple more animals to see coming up. Now, if you look over on the left side, you're going to see a mandrill. He's up on top of the rock. That's most likely a male. Pretty large. The mandrills, they weigh about 100 pounds for the males. They're most well known for the red and blue markings that appear on their faces too. Now on the left side or right side, there's an elephant. I'm going to see if we can go around these bushes, see if we can get a little bit closer.
It says left too.
And this elephant looks to be by itself. I'm not seeing other elephants nearby. It's most likely a male because they do live by themselves or in small bachelor groups. It is kind of facing away from us, but you can get a good look at just how large an elephant is.
His ears.
And you'll see it's also flapping his ears. I promise you he's not trying to fly like Dumbo. When elephants actually flap their ears, that's how they cool their bodies down, similar to that dewlap of the zebras. And by flapping their ears, they can cool their temperatures down about 15 degrees Fahrenheit. I like to call it ear conditioning. We're going to go and see if we can find some more elephants. Maybe if we're lucky, we'll find a herd with females and their babies. Now, elephants being such a large mammal, they do have the longest pregnancy of any mammal. Any guesses on how long an elephant's pregnant for? 2 years. That's very close.
So funny.
It's about 22 months, but it can be up to 2 years.
Wow.
Can you imagine carrying a 2-year-old?
Wow.
I see a lot of shaking heads. Yeah, neither can I. Well, it looks like there is evidence of more elephants nearby. You can see some tusk markings in the clay. Now, elephants, they do eat this stuff. They do use their tusks to soften that clay, so it does make it easier for them to chew. And by eating it, it gives the elephants valuable nutrients into their diet that they may be missing from just eating leafy greens and fruit all day long. When it looks like there is a herd of elephants, you'll see a couple of them on the left side this time. We'll go around these trees, get a better view though. Now elephants, they do have very sensitive skin, just like us. Elephants can get sunburned, so they want to protect their skin too. The way elephants protect their skin is they throw dirt on their bodies. That's kind of like their natural form of sunscreen. So some of them may look very dirty to you. They just applied it this morning. It looks like there's a juvenile over by that other one. That one's almost 5 years old. Looks like they're interacting with one another. They have their tusks wrapped around them. Might be its mom or its sister. I'm not quite sure. Now, another interesting thing about elephants and their skin is they're actually afraid of bees, and I'll go into a little more detail about that in a moment, because I forgot to mention these very small antelope that you'll see on the right side. They're called springbok. I did briefly mention them, but the springbok get their name for their jumping abilities. They could jump into the truck if they wanted to, about 6 feet in the air, 13 feet across. They do that when they're excited or scared. Looks like they went behind that large tree. The elephants. Now, elephants are afraid of bees, but that helped the farmers out. They put the beehive fences around their farms to protect them from elephants during the elephant migration. And also gave the farmers another source of income by selling honey. Now, you're also going to see these flamingos on the left. It looks like they had some chicks, because you're going to see those little gray fluff balls. Aren't they cute? Now look at their pink colors over time. They do get it from the food they eat in the water. It is called brine shrimp. And that shrimp contains a protein called beta-carotene, which turns those feathers pink. It'll take roughly about 2 whole years for those little chicks to fully turn pink too. Their feathers do start out gray, then they turn white, and then pink. Looks like we found the warden's post. It looks like they caught those poachers, which is a good thing. Now, poachers are unfortunately becoming more sophisticated, but if they were not being caught, we would not have seen those white rhinos on the right. I'm sorry, not right side, left side. Don't know my rights and lefts today.
Wow.
Now they're hanging out underneath that palm tree. Now, if you look at their horns, I'll get a little closer to them, but those horns are all slightly shaped differently, and that is how you tell the difference between individual rhinos. They shape those horns by rubbing them on rocks and trees into a design that they like. It's kind of like how we get our hair cut or our fingernails trimmed. And like that black rhino we saw earlier, these ones are also resting because they are crepuscular. So you have your diurnal animals like us, we're awake during the day and sleep at night. Nocturnal is the opposite. Crepuscular means that they're awake during the early mornings and late afternoons. So this is their resting time. And you can see their ears are twitching. They do have very good sense of hearing. They could hear me talking. Probably hear anybody whispering too. The way you tell the difference between a black rhino and a white rhino, it's their size, because the white rhinos weigh about 5,000 pounds, black rhinos 3,000, and it's also the shapes of their mouths. So the black rhino has a triangle-shaped mouth, and the white rhinos, they have square-shaped mouths. It looks like a lot of the other animals are hiding over in this area, so I'll keep going, see what other ones we find up ahead. I think I did see an ostrich earlier off in the bushes, so let's see if we can get another view of it. Maybe even find it again.
Oh, lion.
Well, we have found a large pile of rocks. Now, this area does have a name. This is called a kopie. And kopies are used by animals as a place to seek shelter, especially from the extreme weather.
I see animals.
Will you see animals? I do too. They're up ahead. They're over on the right side. It actually looks like some white rhinos are awake right now. You're going to see 3 of them. We'll go around these rocks, but I do see a mom and her baby rhino. So we'll go around these rocks and get a much better view of them. And you'll also see those ostrich. They're hanging out by that warden's truck. They like to mess with the wardens every now and then. We're going to go around these rocks and get a much better view of them. Now, the ostrich, they are the largest birds, but they are flightless. I personally would be scared to see one fly. They're about 10 feet tall. It doesn't look like anything's up on top of those rocks, so we'll keep going. Get a view of those other rhinos.
Very big birds. Usually the lions are over there.
Now, they are kind of hard to see, but if you look over on the left, just past a tree in the distance, there are some warthogs resting. They kind of look like little logs. They are the largest of burrowing mammals. They do have 2 sets of tusks, which they use to dig and protect those burrows from any animals that might try to steal it from them. They are very protective of their homes.
I won't be surprised if you
All right, so we're gonna get a view of these white rhinos. So you'll see the little youngster. He's off in the distance. That one might be a sister or aunt. Now that little baby rhino, he's about 9 months old. He's almost 900 pounds.
Oh, wow.
They grow about 9 pounds every single day, so that's a large animal, even as a baby. You'll get a good look at those ostrich too. They are females because they've got gray feathers. You'll see they did lay some eggs too.
Wow, what is that?
Now each one of those ostrich eggs does weigh about 3 pounds or 2 dozen chicken eggs. Now the shell of those eggs is also pretty strong.
See them sleeping.
That one of us could stand on top of an ostrich egg and it won't even crack. All right. And it looks like we're gonna leave the savannah. We're gonna head towards this forest called the Magadi Glen. And it is home to the warden's post at the edge of the reserve.
Michael, you got to sit down.
Oh, and it looks like the wardens are taking care of some super cute goats. You're gonna see them on the left. They are called Nigerian dwarf goats. Looks like they're following those wardens. Now they're very playful and friendly by nature. It does help them socialize. And because of these goats' small size, they really don't need that much space to take care of. That gives more land back to the animals in the wild. They're also very useful to the locals for their milk and cheese. It is very nutritious and of high value, so they can sell those products. So it helps them to rely less on the wildlife, so they can protect them more too. All right. We have left the reserve. We're gonna head back towards civilization. And we did see a lot of animals out there. Unfortunately though, most of them are still endangered today. So if you want to help those animals out, talk to the villagers about Disney's Conservation Fund. And they're a nonprofit that matches dollar for any amount that you donate. All in the effort to end extinction and to support those conservation efforts around the world. Now if you do want to check out some more animals later on today, I do suggest going to Gorilla Falls Exploration Trail. It is just beyond the exit of Kilimanjaro safaris. And along that trail you can find a wide variety of animals, some of which do include the western lowland gorilla, colobus monkeys, meerkats, and even the naked mole rats. That trail does take roughly about 20 minutes to do, but you can take as long as you want. And also, if I have any wilderness explorers on board, you have been riding the Simba 1. That is SIMBA number 1. You could go get that badge at the entrance to Kilimanjaro Safaris underneath.
Laughing in my classes while I was scheming for the